got our buddy Brew Coffee.
Yeah.
Dave Ward, Susan Ward, the world famous Buddy Brew. I'm sitting here with Mark Dominick, who's a good friend, but also, as you all know, GM of the undefeated. The undefeated Bucks. We are excited about this season. Mark, welcome, and you just wanted to say thank you for being here. I know you're a big coffee drinker.
I am a big coffee drinker. I'm happy to be here. It's nice to be at Buddy's Brew with Dave and Susan Ward, and what they've done here is pretty impressive. So, good, easy morning. It's good to see you. It's Friday morning. Get ready to go to Carolina, but it's a good start to the season.
So, how does this work? I mean, okay, if it's an away game, you know, what do you normally do? Like, you know, the Friday before.
We still do our typical Friday practice today. We do our walkthrough. We have the players in from they're in at 7 o'clock this morning. They stay till about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. They go home and have a chance to be with their family. But what happens tomorrow is we all get on the charter flight at 1:30 and fly up to Charlotte one day ahead of time prior to the game.
Now, all right, the Panthers. I know we've had a really, you know, interesting history with these guys. Is there any? What's the feeling between the Bucks and the Panthers? Is this a tough rivalry?
It is a tough rivalry. It's been a hard rivalry since the NFC South was born back in 2002, and lately they've gotten the best of us. And certainly last year we struggled against stopping the run we did the year prior. So it'll be a very good test for this young football team to find out exactly what we're doing defensively to see if we can continue to start stopping the run at a more consistent basis. They're a good football team. You know, the score last week against the Giants, where they lost, basically 31-18, was not that type of football game. I mean, Matt Moore threw 3 interceptions into the end zone, and they had a chance to win that game and just got a little away from them at the end. So it's not an opponent to take lightly, certainly not Carolina, and certainly not down the road. So we're looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a good test for our football team.
That's cool, man. We're here at Buddy Brew having great coffee. We come here every Friday, and we bring special guests who really make a difference in our community. Now, you are not a native of Tampa. You are actually from Kansas. Is that true?
I'm actually born in Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
Found ways through Tennessee and North Carolina, through South Dakota, to Kansas, now in Tampa. So, but I've actually been a Tampa resident, proud to call Tampa home for over 15 years now. We came here in Tampa in 1995 and have been here ever since.
And you've been with the Bucks organization since you got here, right?
Yeah.
Now, before that, you were with the Chiefs?
Yeah, it's been a year and a half with the Kansas City Chiefs in their college. Right out of college, got my degree in sports management and spent my entire career so far in the National Football League.
I've taught a lot of young people that love sports and want to get involved in this type of field, but man, that's got to be tough. I mean, I think the hours you put in. I was reading that you're regularly up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
It's an early morning.
You drink lots of black coffee to make sure that it all comes from our friend here, Dave.
That's exactly right.
How do you prepare? I mean, what is a typical week preparing for a football game?
For me, it's you hope to get as much sleep as you can because the weeks are long. But I mean, I think everybody works a lot of hours nowadays, and it's a passion of mine, so it doesn't feel the strain. You don't feel the strenuous exert on your body too much, but it makes for a long season. But at the same point, every night you spend your day obviously working through issues with the organization, whether it's an injury that takes place and you have to bring a player up from the practice squad, you're signing guys, you're bringing guys in for tryouts. So really the season never stops anymore. You know, we have maybe about a month in July that we have a little downtime before we get to training camp. But it's but that's the way the National Football League is. It's an 11, 12-month job, and it's a great passion. And I got a break coming out of college. I got my internship with the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think when I first joined sports management and first got the degree, there was very few people that were in that mindset, that field yet. Now, it seems like 1 out of every 3 or 4 young men and women that I meet are getting their degree in sports management, so it's that much more competitive. But there's a lot of opportunities. It's not just NFL. I mean, there's great opportunities in PGA and NASCAR and NBA and all those things. All have opportunities for all these people. And sports continue to grow in this country.
It's great, but you know, one of the things that really impressed me as a young when I was growing up, you know, watching football, the Eagles were, you know, the team to beat, and we actually beat the Eagles in a championship game that I was at the Big Sombrero, and I guess the head coach at the time was it Vermeil?
The Eagles, yes.
Okay, and then did he go to the Chiefs?
He actually went through St. Louis and then ended up finishing. He became unretired, went to St. Louis, and then obviously won a championship there, and then went to Kansas City after that.
Okay, and what impressed me about this guy was when he talked about building a championship. and he put this on the wall, this giant matrix of all the dynamics that are involved in building a championship team, and he was able to do it. It's one of the things that we try to do. In fact, we're not going to try to transition from sports to something like politics and government. I love government, he loves sports, but we're building a matrix and trying to build a world-class city. We want this community to be competitive. We want to be able to bring the businesses and companies that would otherwise relocate to Carolina. We want them to come down here. But what fascinates me is what you all do is that there's so much that goes into building a championship team. That's right. I mean, I walked in, I think I had my Harvard review. I just saw a copy of it that talked about leadership. I walked in to get my hair cut. You're there with your young son.
That's right.
And he said, all right, I've already read the article. I've already read the magazine. And I'm just impressed by, the math and the science actually goes into winning a football team, building a championship team.
We spend a lot of time, and I think we have the same fundamental thoughts on the more business we bring to Tampa, the better it is for the Buccaneers as well. So we want that community to grow and to be as successful as possible as well. So that's really exciting for us, and it does. There is a lot of science that we put into it. A lot of time is spent in terms of evaluation, and then how to build the team. I came into this with my opportunity about 18 months ago, and really studying the past, because I think we can always obviously learn a lot from our history. And so I would read books by Bill Walsh, and I would read obviously Jim Lombardi books, but I would read Ernie Corsi's general manager book, where I'd study draft patterns of Jimmy Johnson and Bill Polian when he was with not only the Buffalo Bills but the Indianapolis Colts and the Carolina Panthers. And you just kind of look at different things that he felt are important. I'm a big journaler. I actually journal a lot of things, so when I see things that people say that really strike me, whether it's in the football field, whether it's at Buddy Brew's coffee, wherever it is, if it's something that really can impact me, I journal it every day, and then I go back through every year and I make sure that I read through that journal every year to kind of talk about what are the fundamental core beliefs. And one of ours is with what we did with the youth movement here in Tampa, is we wanted to draft a quarterback that we think we have now with Josh Freeman, and then we wanted to surround him with playmakers, and that's why we made the trade for Kellen Winslow. But it's certainly why we went out so aggressively and drafted 2 more receivers this year, drafted Sammy Stroud last year, because when you think of the great teams that play in the National Football League, and you go back to Montana and you think of Rice and Taylor, you go, obviously Troy Aikman with Michael Irvin and Alvin Harper, or you can go back to Stallworth and Swan. Every quarterback you think of, Duper and Clayton, they've always had this group of receivers that always grow with that quarterback, and that's what we wanted to do, and that's what we're trying to do right now.
This guy's an intense man. I like this. I like this intensity. You can see. I mean, I don't
the
think
coffee's got me going good.
Well, I read that you drink a lot of coffee, but you do a lot of preparation. It's exciting. Now, we're kind of in a tough economic climate. What are some of the strategies that the Bucs and well, not just the Bucs, but other NFL teams are trying to bring to try to, keep the sport, alive for people who are struggling to meet, just make their day-to-day, meet their bills, but still want to come watch a game?
And we do a lot of things. We've changed our season ticket package. We allow people to buy single game tickets anymore. We don't make them sign 10-year or 7-year commitments. We find any way to lower the price to make it more affordable for the fans who want to be and can attend the game. The other thing we have to do as a football organization is, number one, we need to win. This town supports the Bucs. It always has. Exactly. It's been a great football town. And we've seen it through the years, from '95 all the way through 2009. I've seen this town always support the Bucs. It's been good, but they got to see a winner, and I don't blame them. In this economic time, you want to pay for what you get. And so we've got to produce a winning football team. At the same point, we're looking forward to creating a great atmosphere at the stadium. There's got to be another reason why you want to come to the stadium. And so we're always constantly tweaking, what can we do to make the fan experience that much better? Because we are competing against ourselves with the NFL Red Zone and obviously Sunday Ticket. Those things can really be competitive. It's disadvantages at times to get people to come. So we continually look at different ways to make the experience that much better at our games.
I'm a big fan of Jim Collins, Good to Great, and all the work that he's done. We've talked about it at the county center. In fact, there are many times when I will talk to county employees or staff and say, it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, we're getting ready to go home. These guys, they didn't even start thinking about going home until 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. When Gruden was there, I don't know if he ever went home. You all work long hours, you're always doing preparation, thinking about how you can, put a better product on the field, bring a championship to Tampa Bay, which is what you all have done. And, we're going to try to do the same thing in local government. I hope people are watching what's happening here, paying attention to this fine young man who's the GM of the Buccaneers, which is